The change didn't happen overnight. It was slow, creepy. It started with whispers of a strange sickness. At first, people thought it was just a weird flu. They'd get a high fever and feel confused, their eyes looking glassy and distant. Doctors were baffled. They had never seen anything like it. The sick would wander out of their homes mumbling strange things, their movements becoming slow and jerky. People started locking their doors earlier, a little knot of fear tightening in their chests. The sunny city started to feel a little less bright, a little colder, even in the middle of the day. Then came the green fog. It wasn't a normal fog that rolls in from the sea. This fog was thick, soupy, and had a sickly green glow. It smelled like old damp earth and something else. Something metallic and wrong. It would creep into the city streets late at night, clinging to the ground like a spooky blanket. When the fog appeared, more people would get sick. It seemed to carry the illness on its misty tendrils. People started calling it the zombie fog. At first, they said it as a joke. But soon, no one was laughing anymore. The joke had become a nightmare. The first real panic happened at the old cannery down by the docks. A night watchman called the police, his voice shaking. He said the workers who had gotten sick were back, but they weren't workers anymore. They were different. They moved in a slow, shuffling mob, their arms outstretched, their eyes glowing with a faint green light, just like the fog. They made no sound except for a low, constant moan that seemed to vibrate in your bones. The police who went to investigate never came back. That was the night we knew. The zombies were real, and they were taking our city. The takeover was a slow, terrifying crawl. It wasn't like the movies with big explosions and armies. It was quiet. It was personal. It was your neighbor, your mailman, your teacher, shuffling down the street with those same empty, hungry eyes. The city's defenses crumbled. How do you fight something that used to be your friend? The military tried to set up a quarantine, a huge wall to keep the infection in, but it was too late. The fog was too thick, the moans were too many. Sunstone, our city of dreams, was lost. Left behind the wall, swallowed by the green fog and the shuffling dead. Today, on this 4th of July in 2025, Sunstone is a very different place. It's a ghost town, but the ghosts are real, and they walk. The city is now known as the Sunstone Dead Zone. From the high-tech surveillance drones that fly silently overhead, we can see the streets are no longer empty. They are filled with shuffling figures, moving aimlessly back and forth in a silent, endless parade. The zombies wander through the empty parks and down the once bustling boulevards. They gather in large, silent crowds in the city square, standing for hours, staring at nothing with those vacant, glowing eyes. The city is alive, but with the undead. The once beautiful sights are now scenes from a horror story. The famous boardwalk is a wreck. The great Ferris wheel is rusted and still, its colorful carts creaking in the wind. Sometimes a lone zombie will be sitting in one of the carts, stuck there since the day the city fell. The arcades are dark and silent, their screens shattered. The cotton candy machines are covered in dust and grime. The only sound is the constant, low moan of the undead, a sound that is carried on the wind and can sometimes be heard for miles outside the quarantine wall. It's a sad, scary song from a city that has lost its soul. Nature is trying to take the city back, but in a twisted way. Strange, pale vines with glowing green veins, much like the fog, have crawled over everything. They cover the houses, the cars, and the streetlights, pulsing with a faint, sickly light. This weird plant life seems to thrive in the same conditions as the zombies, growing thicker in the areas where the undead congregate. Scientists watching from afar believe the fog, the plants, and the zombies are all connected, part of some terrible, unnatural ecosystem. The city of Sunshine is now a garden of glowing nightmares, a place that doesn't belong in our world. Life, or what passes for it, in the dead zone is simple and horrifying. The zombies don't seem to sleep. They just wander. They are drawn to loud noises and bright lights, which is why the zone is kept dark and silent from the outside. They shuffle through the remnants of their old lives, walking past their former homes and workplaces without any sign of recognition. It's a city frozen in its last terrible moment. A place of endless, mindless walking, a city of shuffling shadows where the sun still shines, but its warmth can no longer reach the cold streets below. A lost city, haunted by its own people. Even though Sunstone is gone, it is not forgotten. For the people who escaped, the survivors, the city lives on in their memories. They gather every year on this day, not just for the 4th of July, but for Sunstone Remembrance Day. They tell stories about the city they loved, sharing old photographs of sunny days on the boardwalk and happy times in the parks. They talk about the people they lost, not as monsters, but as the friends and family they were. It's a sad day, full of tears, but it's also a way of keeping the real Sunstone alive in their hearts and minds, refusing to let the zombies have the final word. The lost city has become a powerful symbol for the rest of the world. It's a constant, chilling reminder of what can happen, a lesson written in glowing fog and walking corpses. Governments around the world have poured money into studying the Sunstone Plague. Scientists work day and night, analyzing drone footage and samples of the strange plants collected by robotic probes. They are desperately trying to understand the infection, to find a weakness, a cure. The quarantine wall around the dead zone is a scar on the California landscape, a line drawn between the world of the living and the world of the dead. It reminds us to be vigilant, to be careful, and to never take our safety for granted. There are whispers and rumors, of course. Some brave or perhaps foolish explorers known as stalkers try to sneak into the dead zone. They look for salvage, for answers, or just for thrills. Most don't come back, but the stories they tell are of a city that is strangely beautiful in its decay, a silent, glowing world. They speak of the unsettling silence, broken only by the groans of the dead. These stories fuel our nightmares, but they also fuel our curiosity. What really happened in Sunstone? Is there any hope of taking it back from the shuffling hordes that now claim it as their own? And that is where hope lies. It's a small flame in a very big darkness, but it's there. Hope lives in the scientists searching for a cure. It lives in the memories of the survivors who refuse to let the city's spirit die. And it lives in the dream that one day the green fog will lift, the shuffling will stop, and the sun will once again warm the streets of Sunstone. We believe that one day, children might ride their bikes there again. It won't be tomorrow, but we hold on to that hope. Because hope is the one thing the zombies can't take from us. It's the one